Waterloo Secondary School Alumni Association presents Our View for You, an informative series focused on you and your personal development.
Hi everyone, my name is Tariq Ali, and you may know me from the last video which we spoke about on weed management under crop protection. Now today I'm going to be following up on that, and we're going to be speaking about insect pest management. Now, insect pest management, you may be thinking, some of these insects, they cause a lot of damage to my plants, they cause a lot of losses to my plants as well. However, in real life, a lot of these insects are actually beneficial to us. Some may be causing problems, which is a small portion of them. However, the vast majority of them are actually beneficial to us. One such beneficial insect that everyone knows about are the bees, because the honeybees, because they pollinate 70% of our crops, as well as they provide honey for us. Another example of a beneficial insect is actually the ladybug beetle, and this insect actually controls other insects such as your mealybug. And you may be thinking, how does these insects feed? And there are actually many ways how these insects feed. One such way is actually biting and chewing insects, and the biting and chewing insects is what they do is that they bite on the leaf and they chew it up. And one such example is the caterpillar. The other type of insect that has a different mouth part is actually called piercing and sucking, and this is actually a very common insect. The piercing and sucking mouth part type of insect, classical example of that would be things like your whiteflies, things like your thrips. And exactly what do they do is that they pierce the leaf and they suck the sap of the leaf. And next one would be rasping and sucking. Now you may be wondering why I have a melange in my hand or I have a bygone. So basically I'm actually going to give an example of a damage that a rasping and sucking insect cause. Now a rasping and sucking insect, for example the midge in melange flowers, they actually go inside the flower, they rasp against the flower, and then they suck off that there. And one of the symptoms you find from it is actually this here. So this is not any disease, this is actually just a cosmetic damage to the fruit. It's totally fine and you can actually use it. It's just a cosmetic damage to the skin of the fruit, and that is all. Now in this video I'm not going to be speaking about every insect in particular and how to control it, but I'm going to just go and give an overall view on insects and how we're going to be managing them strategically. Now I'm going to be covering two types of insects today, and they affect a lot of crops. You may be familiar with them, and the first type is actually on this plant here, which is soursop. And here we have your classical mealybug. Mealybug is this white insect here, and they are very well known for causing a lot of damages in hibiscus plants, but they are found in many other type of crops, including soursop, sapodilla, etc. And what they do is that they suck the sap of the plant, and when they suck the sap of the plant, this could actually cause stunting of the plant, and when you have high infestation of your plant, it can kill it. But also it can actually reduce your yields and cause a lot of the economic losses. And how do you control some of these pests? There's actually something called economic threshold level for pests, insect pests as well. So economic threshold level is basically your pests have to reach a certain amount to actually cause economic losses. So if you have like one mealybug on your plants, it doesn't mean that you have to spray right away. Or if it isn't causing your losses and stuff yet, it doesn't mean that you have to go and control it right away. However, we try to prevent insects from coming onto your plants. So everything we do, everything is always prevention is better than cure, even in agriculture as well. And when we come to pathology, you'll actually see how this applies. Okay, so here we have whiteflies and we have scale insects affecting guava production. And what they do is that they live underneath the leaf of the plant. And you'll find majority of the insects living underneath the leaves of the plant because they usually hide away from the direct sunlight, and they hate the heat as well. So the best time they usually come out would be early morning or late in the evening. And this is actually one way in terms of getting or attacking them. And in terms of controlling them, one of the management practices we would do before spraying chemicals would be, when you water plant in the morning, you would water them top bottom. Instead of doing that, you come from bottom top and you spray it. the water particles early in the morning or late in the evening when they come under the leaves, it actually drowns some of these insects and gets rid of them. So this is just one insect and how they cause problems. The white flies, they also cause another problem. They exudate a sweet substance on the leaf, and it's actually called honeydew. And when the honeydew, what it does, it actually causes development of a lot of fungal pathogens. Example, this is actually called sooty mole. Sooty mole is a fungal pathogen which is a secondary infection, or it relates back directly to your pest here, your insect pest. So once you get rid of this pest, this here naturally will start to go away, because they will no longer produce the honeydew for the sooty mole to grow on. So I'm going to be speaking about strategic pest control, insect pest control as a matter of fact. And when it comes to insect pests now, there are many ways you could do in terms of controlling them before you reach a chemical control. Now, you could actually apply IPM, integrated pest management, which we spoke about before, just as weeds. But in insect management, there is the cultural, you have the biological, you have the physical, you have mechanical, and last resort, you're going to go with the chemical. And you can actually do a combination of everything to control your pests here. Now, one of the ways in terms of your physical and mechanical removable pests would be literally just taking off the pests from your plants. But that would be just at the start of your insect pest management. However, if you have a lot of other insects on your plants, you may be looking at other ways. How do I control it? So for example, you could actually look at biological control. So example of a biological control in your pest management practice would be something like the diamondback moth. And the diamondback moth is actually an insect pest that actually affects the brassica family. It causes a lot of damages to things like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, etc. and so on. And one of the biological control that can be used in terms of controlling this pest is something called Bacillus thuringiensis. That actually is a bacteria that goes inside the insect and it eats the insect from the inside, thus killing it. Another insect that is beneficial, that is for biological control, are wasp. And what the wasp does is that they lay eggs on the caterpillar, and when they hatch now, the larvae go inside the caterpillar and they eat the caterpillar from inside out. Now, these are just biological controls. There are many other biological controls that can be used in both insect and pathology. But right now we're just focusing on insects. Now, other ways you can actually control insects without using chemicals. You could actually do a mixture of things like garlic. You could do hot pepper. You could blend up neem as well. You could blend all three of them in one, and then you could actually spray it onto your plants. Now, these actually get rid of a lot of these pests that come onto your plant and do attack them. Another way, culturally, you could control them. This would be things like crop rotation. So crop rotation is basically planting another crop after you finish one. So for example, you would plant a leafy crop after legume crops. So say like after you finish plant peas, you would go with things like lettuce, then we go with a root crop, things like cassava, and then you go to a fruiting crop, say example tomatoes, and then you go onwards. So in this now, the type of insects that are suited for this plant now, it's not going to be their next crop, because the next crop is much different from the last one. So it's just a strategy how we're moving forward in terms of controlling your pests. Another way in terms of culturally how we can control them, intercropping. Intercropping is basically planting high scent. You could plant different crops with another type of crop, basically. So one of advice you could go in terms of you can do in controlling a lot of these pests are planting high scented crops within your fruit crops, etc. So for example, you plant things like chive, celery, chrysanthemums. That gives off high scent, and within them they actually prevent a lot of these insects, harmful insects, from coming onto your crop. And these are just some management ways you could actually prevent a lot of these insect attacks. And lastly, of course, would be chemical. So after all these trials and nothing seems to be working, and you find it reaches a stage where you get a lot of economical losses. Now the plant seems stunted and it seems to start to die now. Okay, cool, let's head to chemical. Now when you go to chemical control, you need to know what kind of type of chemical you're using. Chemical control is always the last motive when it comes to any pest prevention. Any pest control. However, as I said, prevention is better than control. So you would try to do as much as prevention practices as possible in terms of not bringing pests into your field. Sanitizing wherever you come from an next farm into your farm. You try to change your clothes, change your boots, use dips, etc. with chlorinated water, and this would actually help in terms of preventing a lot of pests and diseases from coming into your farm. Thank you very much. My name is Tariq Ali, and please like and follow the Waterloo Secondary School Alumni Association. Thank you very much and take care.
For more on these informative topics, like Waterloo Secondary School Alumni Association on Facebook, and subscribe to Waterloo Secondary Alumni 868 on YouTube. Email admin@wssalumni.org for further information. Be sure to order your commemorative alumni polo as Waterloo Secondary School, formerly Waterloo High School, celebrates its 20th anniversary this year.